Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is King Caliber, and basically I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel called Talk Week, where basically you and I talk about recent news with open world gaming. I'm going to be doing one Talk Week video every week, no shit. But anyway, the first episode of Talk Week with your host, King Caliber. So let's start with the first episode of Talk Week. Today we have Fallout 4 possible DLC locations. This is something that people have been talking about for quite a while, even though the game has only been out for 2 months. Around 2 or 3 months. About 3 months. And DLC is just something that people really want, because there's a lot of people, if you haven't seen on the internet, saying, oh, Fallout 4 is getting so boring already. I'm going back to the Elder Scrolls. I mean, number one, why would you just leave a game that you've been waiting so many years for after a little time playing it? You're just like, oh, it's so boring. Well, in a way, yes, it does get boring after you beat the main quest line. But that doesn't make it a... I mean, it's not a bad game, obviously. It's a really good game, but because people judge it for its bad graphics and stuff like that. But people are leaving the game and they're expecting DLC to come in the future because of how boring it is in a way, because there isn't as much stuff to do as there is in the main quest line. You're just building settlements. But yeah, possible DLC locations. Anyway, let's get straight into the locations. So anyway, first thing I heard on the internet is underwater exploration. I don't know too much about this, but if you guys didn't know, PC players, there's actually a unlockable in the console commands called a harpoon gun, where basically you can get it in console commands, and if you have ever used it, it actually is quite messed up in a way. Like it takes on the really cool appearance of a harpoon gun, but it shoots bubbles along with the harpoon, and it's supposed to act as a railway rifle, so you're holding it kind of weird. But yeah, the harpoon gun, this led people to think that this might lead to an underwater exploration DLC, because that'd actually be really cool. I mean, there could be some kind of scuba diving suit where you can go underwater and find cool things and do most of some kind of DLC underwater. Now, another ridiculous concept that I've heard people talking about online, all over YouTube, stuff like that, is a DLC in China. What is wrong with you people? Okay, forget that. Let's talk China, people. So, China. A DLC in China would be so much different from what we've seen in the past with Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Now, in Fallout 3, we got to go to Alaska and fight the Chinese in the simulation. But two things. One, that was a simulation, so it didn't actually happen. Like, the player didn't actually experience it in real life. And two, Alaska is still part of the United States, so we really didn't go out of the country, even though it's connected to Canada on the map, clearly. It is still part of the United States, and we really didn't travel out of the country. So a DLC in China would be very, very different, because it would be the first DLC Bethesda has ever released to be out of the country. But just one thing to note, I just don't think a DLC in China would work. I mean, like, sure, China's a cool place. It's got really cool history behind it, and it's one of the oldest civilizations in history, and the vibe of China is cool, but I just don't think it would work with a Fallout game, in a way. But China, I mean, it's really far away, obviously. How the hell are we going to get there? I mean, like, there was that one mission in Fallout 4 where we help out the Chinese ghoul in the submarine. That was one mission that led us to believe that there was going to be a China DLC, because I'm pretty sure the ghoul in the game did mention that he was going to go back to China or something like that. But yeah, this mission led people to believe that once a China DLC, if it does drop or release, that you'll be able to go back to this submarine and be able to travel to China somehow with this ghoul. That's just what I think. But this did make people believe that there was going to be some kind of China DLC. Now, my personal thoughts. I was thinking a DLC in New York. Now, New York City especially would be very cool to have a DLC in, because history. This is one thing we have to talk about. Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 had taken place in very historical locations. So Boston, there's the Paul Revere statue. The British are coming. The British are coming. And then in Washington, D.C., we have the Declaration of Independence and all that good stuff. The Capitol building. This is all really historical stuff. And we got from Bethesda, personally from Bethesda, we got Fallout games in historical locations. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, a Fallout game in a very historical location with actual real-life history behind it. That's just really, really cool. And I was thinking New York City might be a cool place to have a Fallout 4 DLC. There can be so much more weapons and armor, so many more locations to explore, new features. Just a really cool place. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And speaking of DLCs out of the country, I was thinking in Canada. That might work. Because, you know, Canada, it's right up above the United States on the map. And I was thinking Toronto might be a good place to have a DLC because Toronto is just really cool looking. And other places would work too. So, yeah, tell me what you guys think about Canada. I just think Canada would be a pretty great place to have a DLC. But, yeah, so that is today's first episode of Talk Week with King Caliber, your host. And I will see you guys in the next video. It most likely will be a gaming video. And, yeah, so, anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace out.